If you can call me, then clearly you're not dying. Stop being pathetic, my girlfriend laughed while I lay in the ER. I didn't argue until days later. Her friends abandoned her, work turned cold, and she realized she'd lost me. Sup Reddit. So this all went down a couple weeks ago, and I'm still wrapping my head around it. What was supposed to be one of the best days of my life turned into something I never saw coming, and it made me realize a lot about the person I was with. I don't know if I was blind or just too forgiving, but looking back, it's obvious I should have connected the dots sooner. I'll lay it all out, and you can tell me if I handled it right. All right, so quick background. I, 29 male, have been working as a regional rep for an auto parts supplier. Not flashy, not some tech startup taking over the world type of gig, but it's solid. I spend most of my time visiting dealerships, machine shops, repair garages, making sure they're stocked, smoothing deals, fixing supply hiccups. It's a grind. But if you do it right, people notice. For the past 2 years, I've been eyeing one thing: senior regional account manager. Bigger clients, better perks, a fat raise, and a company car that doesn't smell like a high school wrestling team's bus. It's the step that makes all the long drives, and yes, sir, I'll get it done worth it. So that morning, my boss calls me into his office. Guy's grinning like he just won the lottery, and he goes, "Steven, congrats. You're our new senior regional account manager. 40% raise. Effective immediately." I can't even play it cool. I'm grinning like a dumbass, shaking his hand too hard, thanking him a million times. In my head, I'm already picturing how life changes. Bigger paycheck, career stability, less stress about bills. It's not just a job bump, it's a future bump. First thing I do after walking out, pull out my phone and text Hannah, my girlfriend of 2 years. "Baby, I got it. The promotion is official. Want to celebrate tonight? How about that steakhouse you love?" Now, a little context on Hannah. She's 27, pretty, social butterfly type. Loves her friend group more than anything. Always out at brunches, girls' nights, random weekend getaways. I don't mind it, usually. I've always figured if I cover my end, rent, bills, being reliable, she can have her fun. So I hit send, expecting some excited reply. Maybe OMG congrats or even a call. Something. Instead, my phone buzzes back with, "That's nice, babe. But I can't tonight. It's Heather's farewell party. That's it. No so proud of you. No, let's do tomorrow. Just Heather's farewell party." Heather's one of her old college friends. Nice enough girl, I guess, but Hannah sees her maybe 3 times a year. Meanwhile, this promotion is literally the thing I've been working towards since before we moved in together. I try to reason with her. I get that. But this is kind of a big deal. Could you maybe come to dinner first, then head to the party after? Her reply comes in fast, and it hits me sideways. Don't be selfish, Steven. This is big for Heather. Your promotion isn't going anywhere. We can celebrate later. Selfish. That word. I'm sitting there thinking, I bust my ass for 2 years, finally pull it off, and I'm the selfish one for wanting dinner with my girlfriend. But whatever. I don't want to ruin my day fighting about it. I let it go, texted back something like, "Fine, I'll just grab drinks with the team." And that's what I did. We head to Murphy's Pub across from the office. Nothing crazy, just me and a few coworkers, some food, laughs, everyone patting me on the back. The guys are cracking jokes about me finally being management material, and I'm texting Matt, my best friend since high school, about maybe catching up later to celebrate. Around 9 p.m., I decide to call it a night. Gotta pace myself. Big surgery. Nah, kidding. At this point, I'm just happy, buzzing from the good news. I walk out of Murphy's, phone in my hand, half paying attention while texting Matt. And that's when it happened. I step into the crosswalk, glance up, and bam. A Honda Civic runs a red light. I don't even process it before I'm on the pavement. Ears ringing, people yelling. My left leg feels like it's been run over by a truck. Well, technically, yeah. My ribs are screaming every time I try to breathe, and I can taste blood in my mouth. Strangers are around me shouting, "Don't move! Don't move!" Someone's already on the phone with 911. I'm just lying there, staring at the night sky, thinking, you gotta be kidding me. Can't a man enjoy a one thing in his life? Fast forward. Ambulance comes. They strap me up, rush me to the ER. I'm dazed, barely holding it together. But I understand enough. Fractured leg, ribs possibly broken, more scans in the morning. They want me admitted overnight and surgery scheduled once the orthopedic surgeon is free. I was scared. I'll admit it. I don't get rattled easy, but lying in a hospital bed, bruised and broken, hearing words like surgery and internal bleeding, yeah, that'll shake anyone. So naturally, The first person I want to call is Hannah. It's 11 p.m. by now. She picks up, music blasting in the background. Steven? What's up? I'm at Heather's party. Hannah, I say, my voice probably shaky as hell. I got hit by a car. I'm in the hospital. Can you come? Dead silence. I'm counting the seconds. 10 of them pass before she even says anything. Are you serious? How bad is it? Pretty bad. Broken leg, broken ribs. Surgery tomorrow. Another pause. I can hear laughing and voices behind her. Then she goes, well, can it wait until tomorrow morning? I'm right in the middle of Heather's thing, and everyone's here. It'd be weird to leave now. I swear. I thought maybe the painkillers were messing with my head. Hannah, I got hit by a car. I'm asking you to come to the hospital. Her answer? Word for word, if you can call me, then clearly you're not dying. Stop being dramatic and deal with it yourself. Call your mom or something, because I'm not leaving this party. I'll come tomorrow morning, okay? Click. She hangs up. And that's where my night ended. Me lying there in a hospital bed, phone in my hand, realizing the person I thought I could count on couldn't even leave a party when I needed her most. And I'm not even talking about some random flu. A car hit me. My ribs felt like somebody had taken a baseball bat to them. My leg was in pieces. And I had wires and tubes sticking out of me like I was auditioning to be a transformer. And Hannah? She was out there screaming lyrics into a karaoke mic like it was American Idol. Delusional edition. I'll admit, for about 5 minutes, I just sat there stunned. Not sad. Not crying. Just stunned. Like this is the girl I thought was ride or die. Turns out she was just ride or get drunk and forget I exist. But here's the thing. I'm not the type to sit around and mope. My brain instantly went into problem-solving mode. First step, call someone who actually gives a damn. So I dialed Matt, my best friend since high school. Guy's the definition of loyal. Picks up on the second ring. Yo, Steven, what's up? You sound weird. I got hit by a car. I'm in the hospital. Dead silence. Then, you're joking. Wish I was. Broken leg, ribs busted, surgery in the morning. I expected maybe a pause, maybe him freaking out. Instead, Matt goes full bro mode. All right. Which hospital? I'm on my way. And don't worry, I'll tell the nurses you're a massive pain in the ass, so they prep extra morphine. That's Matt for you. Sarcasm first, questions later. Within an hour, the dude actually showed up. Hoodie, sweatpants, sneakers barely tied, carrying a bag of chips and an energy drink like he was prepping for a video game session instead of a hospital visit. Next, I called my mom. She lives 3 states away, but moms don't care about logistics. She picked up, I told her what happened, and she went full protective mama bear mode. Within minutes, she was asking flight schedules, already threatening to rent a car if she couldn't get a ticket in time. So at least I had reinforcements on the way. Meanwhile, nurses kept stopping by to check vitals. Nice people, professional, but I could see it in their eyes. Where's your girlfriend? Look. One of them even asked, do you want us to call your partner for you? I laughed. Tried that already. She told me to sleep it off. The nurse blinked like I just told her aliens abducted me. She didn't even know how to respond. Just kind of gave me this pity smile before walking out. And honestly, that pity look, it pissed me off more than the accident. Like, great, now even strangers think my girlfriend's trash. Then midnight hits. I'm scrolling my phone, trying to distract myself from the pain when I see it. Hannah's Instagram story. Her holding a glass, grinning like she just cured cancer. Caption. No drama, just good vibes. I almost laughed. No drama? Lady, your boyfriend just got pancaked by a Civic and you're pretending it's Coachella. Half the office had literally seen me get loaded into the ambulance, so by the time Hannah's no drama, just good vibes story went up, it didn't take long. Screenshots hit the group chat that same night, and by noon the next day it was all over Slack. I didn't even have to explain. She did the explaining for me. But here's the part that really got me. Lying there, staring at that Instagram story, I started thinking back. And not in a dramatic, violins playing in the background way. More like when you finally see a puzzle piece click. My MBA graduation dinner. She skipped it. Said her friends had a wine tasting and she didn't want to miss it. I told myself, it's fine. We'll celebrate later. We never did. My grandfather's funeral. Grandfather's, she came, sat there like a robot, then bailed early because one of her college roommates was in town. I was literally shaking hands with family members while she was already on the highway. Even my interview for the job that eventually got me promoted. I asked her to come with me for moral support. She said she had brunch with her sister and couldn't reschedule. At the time, I swallowed it. made excuses for her, told myself she was just busy, or that it wasn't fair to expect her to drop everything. But sitting in that hospital bed, I finally saw the pattern. Every time something important happened in my life, she had something better to do. Meanwhile, me? I dropped everything for her. When her car broke down 2 hours away, I drove out in the rain to get her. When she had a meltdown over some dumb friend drama, I skipped my cousin's wedding just to stay home and support her. When she had one of her panic attacks, I left a work conference early and drove through the night to be there. So yeah, watching her smile into her phone camera with no drama while I'm lying there with busted ribs, it wasn't just painful. It was like the universe finally smacked me upside the head and said, "Hey moron, connect the dots." Matt saw the post too, showed me his phone and said, "Bro, she's cooked." Everyone at the office is talking about this. You don't even need to explain. She did the explaining for you. And he was right. I didn't even feel the need to defend myself. For once, the evidence was right there. Neon sign flashing above her head saying, "This girl doesn't give a damn about you." So yeah, lying in that bed alone, with pain meds pumping through me, and Matt cracking jokes about how I looked like an off-brand Iron Man, I made a promise to myself. No more excuses for Hannah. No more pretending she's just bad with timing. She showed me exactly who she was. And let me tell you, I was finally paying attention. The next morning, they wheeled me into surgery. A couple of bruises that made me look like I lost a fight to a forklift. They knocked me out, put a plate and screws in my leg, and I woke up groggy but alive. First face I saw? Matt. Dude was slouched in the hospital chair, eating my Jell-O cup like he paid for it. "Sup, Iron Man," he said, tossing me the spoon. "You survived. Didn't even cry once. I'm proud." That's the kind of guy Matt is. Shows up, no questions, no whining. They kept me a couple more days for scans, and to make sure nothing internal was bleeding. By Thursday afternoon, they discharged me with crutches, painkillers, and strict orders not to be a hero, Hannah. She didn't show. Not a text during surgery, not a call, not a hope it went well. The girl I lived with for 2 years was MIA, while my best friend of 15 years was literally stealing my hospital pudding. Co-workers were better than she was. Flowers came in. Cards. Messages. My boss called me personally. Told me to take as long as I needed. HR sent over a get-well-soon basket. Hell, even the delivery guy from one of my client shops texted me after hearing the news. And Hannah? Radio silence. She'd promised she'd come in the morning, but it wasn't until late afternoon that she finally wandered in, if you can even call it that. 20 minutes, maybe less. Walked in, phone in her hand, complained about the parking garage fees like they personally offended her. She sat down, scrolled for a while, muttered, "Glad you're okay," and then left. Didn't even ask what the doctor said. Didn't touch me. Didn't look me in the eye. You know how awkward it is when even nurses notice? One of them walked in while Hannah was scrolling Instagram in the corner, and the nurse gave me this look like, "Seriously, this is your girlfriend?" I just smirked back because honestly, what was I supposed to say? Yep, that's my support system. 5 bars of Wi-Fi, 0 bars of empathy. A day later, Carlos, one of my coworkers, dropped by with some paperwork I had to sign. He's usually all business, but this time he looked uncomfortable, like he was about to tell me my dog died. "Dude," he finally said, "I don't know if I should tell you this, but people at the office, they're talking." "About what?" I asked, though I already knew. He pulled out his phone, showed me a screenshot of Hannah's Instagram story from that night. Her with the glass, smiling ear to ear. Caption, "No drama, just good vibes." Time stamped the exact time I was being wheeled into the ER. Carlos shook his head. People are stunned. Like, actually stunned. Everyone saw the ambulance. "We knew you got wrecked, and then your girlfriend's out there partying? Not a good look, man." Even Lisa from accounting said, "I wouldn't even treat my ex like that." And if Lisa from accounting is roasting you, yeah, you're done. That woman once told a guy in the break room his cologne smelled like midlife crisis on clearance. She doesn't miss. So Hannah wasn't just failing me privately, she was tanking her own reputation publicly. And she was too clueless to even realize it. That night, lying in that hospital bed, I started making a list in my head. Times I showed up for her versus times she didn't for me. It wasn't just one bad night. It was the same pattern every time. Graduation, funeral, even the interview for this promotion, she always found a reason to put me last. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Matt summed it up best when he leaned against the wall and said, "Bro, you've been dating an Instagram caption. Looks good on the surface, but there's no substance. You need someone who'd actually pick you over a sangria flight." He wasn't wrong. For the first time in 2 years, I wasn't defending her. I wasn't making excuses like, oh, she just has bad timing or she doesn't realize. I knew exactly what it was. She realized plenty. She just didn't care. And as I sat there, ribs taped, leg in a cast, with my best friend clowning me and coworkers sending more support than the woman I shared a bed with, I felt something click. This wasn't about one accident. This was about waking up to reality. And reality was telling me Hannah had never been my partner. She was just someone who liked the title. Once I saw it that way, everything felt clearer. It was like putting on glasses after squinting at a blurry screen for 2 years. I wasn't heartbroken. I was embarrassed I'd been playing myself this long. Matt came by the next day with a bag of fast food and his usual sarcasm. So, he said between fries, are we going to talk about how your girlfriend's got the emotional range of a vending machine, or do you want me to keep roasting hospital food? I laughed, then told him what Carlos had said about the office gossip. He just smirked. Dude, she's done. Even if you forgave her, people already know who she is. You can't polish that turd. That was when he hit me with the line that stuck. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And she's been giving you reruns. He wasn't wrong. So I decided it was time to act. Not talk, not argue. Act. Quick pause, fellas. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way. Thanks so much for your support. All right, back to the drama. Step 1. Find a place. Even on crutches, I wasn't about to keep sleeping next to someone who could scroll Instagram while I was wired up like a crash test dummy. I started calling around, checking listings. Most places were too pricey or long leases, but eventually I found a one-bedroom across town. Nothing fancy, small kitchen, carpet that looked like it saw the 90s up close, but it was mine, and it was available immediately. Short-term lease, month to month. Perfect. Step 2. Timing. I wasn't looking for some dramatic showdown. Hannah thrived on drama, and I wasn't going to feed it. I wanted out clean, so I picked Saturday morning. She had yoga every week at 10 a.m. sharp. She'd be gone for at least 2 hours, sometimes 3 if she and her friends grabbed smoothies after. That was my window. Step 3. Logistics. I couldn't exactly haul boxes with one leg and busted ribs, so I called in reinforcements. Matt, obviously, and a couple of buddies from work who'd already offered to help with anything I needed. Bring muscle and a truck, I told them. We're pulling a disappearing act. The plan was simple. Pack up only what was mine. Clothes, electronics, personal stuff. I wasn't touching anything we bought together or any of her junk. No ammo for her to play the "you stole from me" card. By the time she got back from yoga, the place would look like half a ghost town. And then there was the final touch. The note. I sat there one night, leg propped up on pillows, writing and rewriting it. I didn't want it to sound angry. Anger gives people room to argue. I wanted it to be final. A hammer drop. The version I settled on was short and sharp. Hannah, I needed you once. Really needed you. And you chose bottle service. That tells me everything I need to know about this relationship and what I mean to you. I hope Heather's farewell was worth it. Please don't contact me. Steven. No begging. No openings for her to twist it. Just facts. While I was scribbling drafts, Matt leaned over my shoulder and said, "Bro, that's cold. I love it. Leave it on the counter next to the Wi-Fi router so she knows you weren't joking about disconnecting." Classic Matt. By the Friday after surgery, once I was home and moving around slowly on crutches, the plan was locked. I told Hannah I'd be fine on my own that weekend, encouraged her to enjoy her yoga and self-care. She bought it without hesitation, because of course she did. In her mind, I was still the dependable guy who'd always be there. The guy she could ignore one night and expect waiting at home the next. Saturday morning, 9:55 a.m. She left in leggings and a mat under her arm, humming like she didn't have a care in the world. I watched her walk out the door, and for the first time in a long time, I felt relief instead of resentment. I wasn't exactly lifting boxes. Hell, I could barely hobble across the room. But with the guys doing the heavy work, all I had to do was point and direct traffic. At 10:05 a.m., Matt and the crew rolled in. He walked straight into the apartment, clapped his hands together, and said, "All right, boys. Operation Deadweight Removal is a go." I couldn't do much with my legs, so I sat in a chair directing traffic like some injured general. "That box is mine. Leave that lamp. Grab the toolbox, it's under the bed. Don't touch the pink throw pillows, unless you're into punishment." The guys laughed, loaded everything up, and in about 3 hours my entire life was out of that apartment. Clothes, TV, gaming setup, personal files, even my coffee maker. We worked fast, left the place spotless. And right in the middle of the kitchen counter, I placed the note. I took one last look around, leaned on my crutch, and thought, this is what freedom looks like. Then we locked up and left. By the time Hannah would be sipping her overpriced kale smoothie, she'd be walking into a half-empty apartment and reading a piece of paper that summed up exactly why she'd lost me. And me? I'd be across town, in a crappy little one-bedroom with bad carpet, eating pizza with Matt, and actually breathing for the first time in 2 years. The plan wasn't just about leaving, it was about finally respecting myself enough to stop waiting for someone who never showed up. By Sunday morning, the respect part was holding strong, but my phone, not so much. I turned it back on and got hit with a flood. 47 missed calls, 23 texts, all from Hannah. It was like watching someone's personality unravel in real time. The first batch of messages were confused. Where are you? Why is your stuff gone? Steven, what is happening? Then they shifted into angry mode. Are you seriously doing this over one mistake? You're being ridiculous. Grow up. Then came defensive. I didn't know it was that serious. You sounded fine on the phone. Then manipulative. You know I'm scared of hospitals. You're just punishing me for being social. And finally, victim mode. I can't believe you'd abandon me like this. You're just like every other guy. And it was like the 5 stages of grief, but instead of grief, it was denial, entitlement, and zero self-awareness. I didn't answer a single one. Blocked her number. But blocking her didn't mean the circus stopped. Sunday night, Cody, mutual friend, called me. Bro, Hannah showed up at my apartment bawling. Said you disappeared over a little disagreement. Tried to get me to talk you into coming back. I laughed. And what did you say? I told her the whole friend group knows what happened. You got hit by a car, she chose a party. Doesn't look like a little disagreement to anyone but her. Cody said she froze, mumbled something about, it wasn't like that, then left. That was just the start. By Monday, she'd switched into full damage control mode. Calling mutual friends, spinning her version. I was emotionally manipulative. I was controlling. I couldn't handle her independence. The problem for her? People already had the screenshots. That Instagram story with no drama, just good vibes, was floating around like a wanted poster. One coworker told me people at the office started making jokes. Stuff like, if you get hit by a car, don't worry. Hannah will send thoughts and prayers from karaoke night. It was brutal. But she brought it on herself. And Heather, the actual farewell girl, messaged me directly. Steven, I just want you to know Hannah never told me you were in the hospital. If I had known, I would have told her to leave immediately. No party is worth that. Translation, even her own friend thought she was trash for what she did. Meanwhile, Hannah was getting iced out socially. Their group chat went quiet every time she posted. People started forgetting to invite her to brunch or movies. She noticed. Cody told me she'd been texting people, paranoid, asking if they were mad at her. And when no one gave her straight answers, she got defensive. At work, it was worse. Remember, Hannah and I both worked in industries that overlapped. Word spread. A mutual client told her boss's assistant, who told her coworkers, and suddenly she wasn't just that girl from Steven's IG scandal. She was that girl who ditched her boyfriend in the hospital. I heard from Carlos that even the women at her office were cutting her out. One group of them had a regular lunch thing every Wednesday. Hannah used to be in the core crew. That week, they forgot to tell her. Small thing, but in office politics, that's the equivalent of being exiled. And the best part? She still thought she could fix it by convincing me to take her back. She showed up at Cody's again midweek, tried to get sympathy, crying that I was ruining her reputation. Cody shut her down hard. You did that yourself. I won't lie. Watching the fallout was satisfying. Not in a cruel way, but in a poetic justice way. For 2 years, I'd been the guy dropping everything for her, while she treated me like a side quest. And now, everyone else was finally seeing the same thing I had seen in that hospital bed. Matt, of course, had the best commentary. She wanted priorities? Well, congrats. She just made herself a case study in what happens when you pick bottle service over your boyfriend's bones. I laughed harder than my ribs allowed. By the end of the week, my phone was quieter. No more calls, no more texts, just silence. Hannah wasn't reaching out anymore. She was too busy trying to patch holes in her social life, and I was too busy enjoying the peace. Lying on my crappy new couch in that one bedroom with the 90s carpet, I realized something important. Leaving wasn't just about getting away from her. It was about showing myself that I could, that I wasn't trapped, that I didn't have to sit around waiting for someone who thought karaoke was more important than me. And as her reputation crumbled, my respect for myself grew. I wasn't just the guy who got ditched in the ER anymore. I was the guy who left. The guy who didn't tolerate being treated like a background character in his own life. And let me tell you, that felt damn good. By midweek, though, Hannah finally cracked. I saw her through the window of my new apartment, standing outside with a tote bag slung over her shoulder like she was moving in. Cody must have given her the address. Makes sense. She'd tried him first. I almost laughed. 2 years of living together, and the only time she'd ever bothered showing up at my door with urgency was after her social circle stopped answering her texts. I opened the door just enough to lean against the frame. Didn't invite her in. That alone threw her off. She wasn't used to not being welcomed like a queen in her own little kingdom. She looked wrecked. Hair a mess. Eyes puffy. Voice shaky. "Steven, we need to talk." I raised an eyebrow. Is talk? Funny, that's all I wanted when I called from the hospital. Remember how that went? She winced but pressed on. That night, I made a mistake. I was drunk. I panicked. I didn't realize how serious it was. I gave her a slow clap. "Congrats, Hannah. You just set a world record for worst excuse. You hung up on me while I was waiting for surgery. That wasn't panic. That was priorities. And spoiler alert, I wasn't on the list." She started tearing up. But the thing is, the crying felt more like theater than tragedy. Like she knew she was supposed to cry here. So she queued it up. "I can change. I'll be better. Please, Steven, don't throw away what we have." I tilted my head. What we have? Let's review what we had. Me in a hospital bed, broken bones. You doing karaoke and posting no drama, just good vibes. If that's what we had, then yeah. I threw it away. Straight into the trash where it belongs. Her lip trembled. She tried again. "It's not like I didn't care. I didn't want to let Heather down. She would have been mad if I left." That one almost made me laugh. "So let me get this straight. You were more scared of disappointing Heather than you were of losing me. Solid priorities, Hannah. Real relationship material right there." She couldn't answer. She just stood there, crying harder. So I asked her point blank, "When's the last time you actually chose me over someone else? Think about it. One time in the past 2 years." She opened her mouth, then closed it. Silence. Nothing. I nodded. That's what I thought. I leaned on my crutch, looked her dead in the eye, and dropped the line that had been sitting in my head for days. "Here's the difference between you and me, Hannah. If it were you in that hospital bed, I'd have carried you out on my back if I had to. You wouldn't even get in an Uber." She flinched like I'd slapped her, but it was the truth. For a minute, she just stood there, bawling. "Steven, please. Don't do this. I love you." I shook my head. "Nah, you loved the convenience of me. You loved knowing I'd drop everything for you. That's not love. That's dependency. And I'm done being your safety net." I didn't yell, didn't slam the door in her face. Just spoke it flat, calm, final. That's what really broke her. She wasn't facing an argument she could twist or manipulate. She was facing reality, and reality wasn't negotiating. She cried harder, muttered something about me being cold, then turned and walked down the hall. I watched her leave, shut the door, and felt lighter than I had in years. Matt came over that night with pizza, like he always does, and when I told him about the confrontation, he fist bumped me. "About time, man. You finally leveled up. Alpha unlocked." I laughed, winced at my ribs, and said, "Feels like I traded one broken leg for 100 pounds off my shoulders." And that was the truth. Because here's the thing. Every guy knows deep down when he's being taken for granted. But we make excuses. We wait. We hope. We tell ourselves it'll get better. I did that for 2 years. And the second I stopped, the second I cut her off, everything in my life started looking clearer. My friends respected me more. My coworkers were behind me. Hell, even people who barely knew me were saying I did the right thing. Meanwhile, Hannah was out there flailing, trying to spin a story nobody was buying. And as much as part of me wanted to feel bad for her, I couldn't. She had every chance to show me I mattered. And every single time, she chose someone else. So no, I wasn't cold. I wasn't harsh. I was just done. And for the first time in years, being done felt better than being loved. A week passed. My ribs still ached every time I coughed, and my leg felt like it had been replaced with rebar. But my head? Clearer than it had been in a long time. Work had my back. Matt was basically my unofficial nurse/comedian. And the peace of not living in a 2-year circus was something I didn't even realize I'd been craving. Then, just when I thought the chapter was closed, Hannah showed up again. It was a Saturday evening. I'd just finished limping through my physical therapy exercises when there was a knock at the door. I looked through the peephole and there she was, holding one of those overpriced care baskets filled with tea and crackers, like some sad attempt to buy redemption at Bed Bath & Beyond. I almost didn't open the door, but ignoring someone forever isn't my style. I cracked it, leaned against the frame, and raised an eyebrow. She held up the basket like it was a peace treaty. I brought you something for your recovery. That's thoughtful, I said flatly. But I don't need anything. Stephen, please, she whispered. Can we just talk? 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I let her step inside. Not because I owed her anything, but because I wanted to end this properly. I stayed standing. No sitting, no comfort, no false hope. She sat on the edge of my couch, eyes red, voice shaky. I've been going to therapy. I've been thinking about what I did. I realized I wasn't a good partner. I kept putting everyone else first because I didn't want to disappoint people. And in the process, I disappointed the one person who mattered. I just stared at her. Let the silence do its work. She kept going. When you called me that night, I replay it every day. I hate myself for telling you to sleep it off. You were scared and hurt, and Her voice broke. I wasn't there. I get it now. I really do. It almost sounded genuine. But here's the thing. Even if it was, it didn't matter. Because I finally understood something she never would. An apology doesn't erase a pattern. She started crying again. I can change. I can be better. I shook my head. Maybe you can. But not with me. I'm not your practice run. I deserve someone who doesn't need to learn the basics of loyalty on the job. Her eyes widened, like she wasn't expecting me to stand so firm. So that's it? 2 years together, and you're just done? I leaned on my crutch, looked her dead in the eye, and said, No. You were done the second you hung up on me. I'm just catching up. She sat there, crying quietly, then finally stood. At the door, she turned back. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. You didn't deserve me at my worst. I half smiled. You didn't give me much else. And that was it. She left. No screaming, no slamming doors, just the quiet sound of her walking away. After she was gone, I sat in the silence of my little one-bedroom and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Not sadness, not regret. Peace. Matt came over later with pizza and a 6-pack of root beer. He plopped down next to me and said, So, she finally gave you the waterworks? Yep, I said. Full show. But it doesn't matter. I'm done. He grinned. Good. Because honestly, bro, you look 10 years younger since you left her. Like you just dropped a parasite. I laughed, winced at my ribs, and took a slice of pizza. He wasn't wrong. Because here's the truth. I loved Hannah. But she never loved me back, not really. She loved convenience. She loved having someone who'd drop everything for her, while she dropped me the second something shinier came along. And that's not love. That's a one-way street. So yeah, walking away hurt, but staying would have hurt worse. Now, my ribs are healing, my legs getting stronger, and I've got a job that just set me up for the future. I've got friends who show up without me asking. I've got a mom who reminds me what actual love looks like, and I've got my self-respect back. And honestly, that feels better than any fake I love you ever did. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't somebody's second choice. I was my own first, and I'm never giving that up again.